Hi guys, today's video is going to be about this Skinny Micromuff. I recently got a new vlogging camera, upgraded from the Canon G7X Mark I to the Mark II I'm filming on now. I decided to get a Skinny Micromuff for this camera. So today I'm going to unbox this. While I unbox it, I'll tell you why I bought one and why I hadn't until now. And then we'll go and test it out, give you some sample footage with and without the Skinny Micromuff. So let's do this. Okay, as you can see, I got my Micromuff from Amazon here in the UK. Now, wherever you are in the world and whenever you're watching this, if you're wondering how much they cost right now, it's not a bad place to start. I've seen many people use the Micromuffs over the last few years, and the general consensus seems to be it looks a bit rubbish, but it works. I like using compact cameras like the G7X or Sony RX100 to make my videos, and they've got built-in microphones which don't handle wind well. I've put off getting a Micromuff because I've mostly got away without one and they look silly. I make most of my videos in London, and London has its fair share of bad weather, but you can usually find a spot even on a bad day that's not too windy. However, this spring it's been, well, I guess more windy to the point it's impossible to escape the breeze. And for the first time recently I had a whole video where it was just impossible to avoid the wind. Wherever I went I couldn't avoid it and it sounded awful. They do make the camera look silly. They obscure the pop-up screen on the G7X and RX100s and equivalent cameras, and they draw attention to the camera. It looks like you've given it a fluffy mohawk hairpiece. Anyway, they are easily removable, so I guess when it's windy I'm just going to have to look at this stupid looking piece of fluff in the way of the selfie screen. In the box you get the fluffy muff and two pieces of sticky back velcro, so you can use your muff with two cameras. You get some stickers and the instructions. The box is actually perfect. It's small enough for it to fit in your pocket, so you can use it not only for storage when you're not using the Micromuff, but take it out with you when you are. Now, the sticky velcro is just a bit too big for the G7X, so I've had to trim a bit off each edge of the sticky back velcro to stop it overlapping the flash or the power button. It was very simple to do with regular scissors. Now it fits perfectly, doesn't interfere with the power button, and I can still use the flash if I need to. There are the two little bits I chopped off either end. Okay, fitting the Micromuff and removing the Micromuff, very easy. Trimming a little bit off the velcro doesn't seem to have adversely affected how it attaches, but as you can see with the selfie screen flipped up, the Micromuff does obscure the selfie screen, but I suppose if it's not windy you can very easily remove it while you're out and about. Okay, before we head outdoors, let's test this out indoors. Not that we'll need it indoors, but let's see what it sounds like. Hopefully it doesn't muffle the sound at all. Right, Micromuff off. That is with the Micromuff on, so hopefully it's not muffling the sound too much. And then again, Micromuff off. It's very easy to pull on and off. It does obscure the screen quite a lot. I guess that's the price you have to pay for using the Micromuff. But yeah, Micromuff back on. How's it sound? Let's go and test it outdoors. Okay, it's a pretty typical day here in London, so quite windy. It's intermittent, but there is a place where it's always windy, and that's up on these bridges. The Micromuff is off the camera right now. I thought I'd come and do some test footage to test for myself and to show you guys how this thing functions. So right now the Micromuff is off. It's Canon G7X Mark II. Let's put the G7X, let's put the Micromuff on the G7X. So there we go, that's the Micromuff on. So hopefully you'll notice an improvement in the wind noise. But let's head up on the bridges where it should be a little bit windier than down here at street level, and see how it sounds up there with the Micromuff on and with it off. Let's put it off again. There we go. It's very easy to take on and off, which is a bonus. It does obscure the flip up screen, but I suppose if it's not windy you can very easily pull it off. Okay, so it's a little bit windier up here than down there. It's not an excessively windy day, but you should be able to hear the wind noise up here. Let's pop the wind, let's put the Micromuff back on, and hopefully that will eliminate the wind a little bit. Okay, so that is the Micromuff back on. Hopefully that's doing the trick, reducing wind noise. You can feel the breeze. As we get into the middle of the bridge here, it will get windier, so let's pull it off. Okay, so that's the Micromuff off. Can you hear the wind? Let's pop it back on. Okay, that's with the Micromuff back on, so hopefully there's a visible difference, no visible difference, an audible difference. Check out the views. Okay, so that's the Micromuff on. Let's pull it off. That is with the Micromuff off. Let's pop it back on. Okay, that's back on. That is off again. So yeah, this is with the Micromuff off, pretty windy. Let's pop it on. Hopefully that's an improvement. Off again. Okay, it's pretty windy up here. Off. On. Yeah. Off. On. Okay, hopefully that is enough test footage with it on and off. So hope you found this useful, and I'm going to go and check out the footage. I'll let you know my thoughts. Okay, so as you can tell from this footage, it makes a big difference. The Micromuff really does work. It's a little bit windy up here. You can clearly hear the wind without the Micromuff, and when you pop it on, it doesn't entirely remove it, but it makes the wind noise barely noticeable. That is with it off. Okay, let's pop it on. There you go. Back on again. So yeah, I would definitely recommend the Micromuff if you're going to be filming anywhere with even a small amount of wind. It looks silly, it gets in the way of the selfie screen. The one thing I would change about it, I would make them black rather than grey so they stand out a little bit less. But on a windy day like today, it's going to make what would have been unusable footage not just usable but good. So yeah, definitely recommend the Micromuff. I don't think the Micromuff will cut out the high-pitched squeals. Let's try.